Hello everyone, and this is Bobster, starting my new series on forestry with RedPower machines and tubes. And for this we'll be using a default texture pack, not the default texture pack, a texture pack of Sphax 64. The first episode will be taking a look around at my setup, and we'll be starting off with the tree, wheat and the bog farm. So let's get on with it. First of all, railcraft tank full of lava, and this will be our source of power. Quite easy to set up. We need access to the nether, make an ender chest, a couple of filters, one pulling out fill buckets of lava into a liquid transposer, and then the other filter pulling out the empty buckets to send back to the nether. And we've got a redstone energy cell sat underneath which powers the liquid transposer. Then that lava then goes by thermal expansion liquiducts into the tank. At this side, not yet switched on, is our power for the farms. I've gone a little over the top than what is necessary, simply because we need the machines to go a little bit quicker for the purpose of these videos and tutorial. These are thermal expansions magmatic engines. They output a maximum of 4 Minecraft joules per tick when they get up to full heat, and run solely on lava. And if you use the redstone energy conduit, they will never overheat, as long as you've got more than one piece on, of course. So minimum of 2 pieces. These will never overheat, even if they're not doing anything. So we'll set those going later. Let's just go and have a quick look in the nether. Nice and neat little trick for you. You ever wanted an on-off switch for your nether portal? Use the RedPower igniter with a lever on top, and that will simply allow you to turn the nether portal on or off. Groovy little thing. Alright, so in the nether we have, I believe this way. I'm in creative mode, by the way, so in the chest where our empty buckets are picked up by another filter, empty buckets, into a liquid transposer, which is sat on top of a pump, and these are powered by 2 redstone energy cells, one of which is nearly depleted. They don't need a lot of power. You don't need 10 Minecraft joules per tick for that. Probably 1 or 2 will do. And a world anchor. So that's our power source for the farms. So let's take a look at our first farm, and our first farm is our tree farm. And the tree farm dimensions we'll look at more closely in a second, but they are 13 by 13 with a 9 by 9 center in the middle, which is left untouched. And the logger will pick up from an area of 21 by 21 from the logger itself, and up to 10 blocks high. Now, when I say logger picks up, it will pick up everything. Saplings, apples, sticky resin, if you're doing rubber trees, anything like that. The requirements for a tree farm are power, humus in the arboretum, and tree saplings in the arboretum. Try not to use the specialist tree saplings because they will crash the server. You want stuff like oak or rubber trees, or just a generic tree sapling. There is an update coming out for forestry which may allow you to do the other tree saplings. The RedPower tube outlets. Now this is different to the Buildcraft pipes. And the arboretum, you put the humus in through the bottom of the arboretum, and the saplings in through the top. And it outputs sand at any side. And the logger doesn't have any inputs, and it outputs all items, that's logs, apples, saplings, through any side. Power requirements: you can run any forestry machine on as little as 1 Minecraft joule per tick, with a maximum of around about 8 to 10. I've not seen any benefit from any higher than that. So let's have a look at the arboretum. To build that, we've got 4 glass in each corner. Well, 1 glass in each corner, total of 4 glass. We've got a sturdy casing in the middle, which is basically bronze all the way around. You'll see these recipes are pretty much all the same. They've got a small circuit board at the bottom, which is made in a carpenter, and that's just redstone and tin, some water. And last but not least, we have electron tubes for the Arboretum. They're golden electron tubes. Now, electron tubes are made in this little fellow here, the thermionic fabricator, and they're pretty much all the same recipe depending on what type of electron tube you want. You will always have 2 redstone here, and then these 5 will differ. For a golden electron tube, you use gold bars, not diamonds. And you'll want glass in here as well. Okay, so that was the Arboretum. The logger is, again, glass in the corners, small circuit board at the bottom, sturdy casing in the middle, and this time we have the diamantine electron tubes. The diamantine is the diamond one, so that's quite expensive. Okay, so that's the machines that we require. Let's have a look at the area now. Now you can see there, pretty much like a bullseye, right in the middle, that is where the Arboretum will be placed. And then we have 4 squares up to the point where the humus is laid down. So that red band that goes around there will be covered where the humus is put. And if the Arboretum was in the middle, the logger was in the middle, which it can't be because the Arboretum is there, although you can put it on top, so theoretically it can be, the fence marks the area in which it will pick up saplings, apples, and anything that drops that might actually, shoot out. So it's quite a big area that the logger will pick up from. So let's get started and place these down. Oh, before we do that, let's just turn on our power, otherwise not a lot will happen. And to do that, we just need a redstone signal. And we just pop that lever right next to there and turn it on, and off we go. So they'll warm up nicely as we're doing this. Now for all the farms in this tutorial, we're going to be using the same format, and that is that we'll be placing all these farms around about the same place. So main farm machine in the middle, and then off to the top left we're going to place the harvester type. In this case it's a logger. And in one of the corners we're going to place an already laid power, which is the redstone energy conduit, and we connect both machines from the same cable. Okay, now I'm going to cheat slightly with this. Humus is made up of dirt and mulch. Humus. I keep calling it humorous. It's not humorous, it's humus. Is dirt, and fertilizer, which is fertilizer is made up from apatite, which is the ore that you'll see scattered around, which not a lot of people bother picking up. There are other ways to make it. You can make it in the crafting table, normal crafting table, which will give you 8. Or, as we'll be doing later on, we'll be automating the process and getting 9. Right, so to get started, let's put our humus, and needed more than that, in there. And then we need some tree saplings. So for this we're just going to use normal oak. Like I said, stay away from these ones for the time being until Forestry updates. Just shoot 4 stacks in there. And as you can see, it's drawing quite rapidly. That's because we've got a lot of power going in there. The more power, the faster they go, but it's not a requirement to make them go fast. I mean, the tree won't make the trees grow any faster, only the machines. So that's right, and that's our tree farm laid. So now what we do is we need to output the materials. Now this is where the beauty of RedPower comes into it. We take a relay. and replace the relay in this corner here. Now it doesn't really matter which way round it goes, it all depends on which side you want the output to be. So we can have it facing up if you want the output to go up, or this way, or this way, or when we initially placed it, we can even have the output going down under the floor. It doesn't really matter which way it goes. For the sake of the way I've laid all these farms out, we're going to go this way. And all I'm going to do is take a couple of pneumatic tubes, not redstone tubes, and I'm just going to drop them straight into a chest for now. Actually, I'm not. I've forgotten a step. What we need to do is we need to get the saplings to go back into the arboretum, so this is kept topped up. So to do that, just take a lift off, come this way, lift up 2, we'll go over the top of the relay, and here you need to place an upside down filter. I call them upside down because people aren't used to using them this way up. And what I mean by upside down is that way. So it actually goes in the large side. Normally it goes in through the other side and outputs that way. But we're doing it the wrong way around because this little fellow here, just grab one of these. You put in a sapling of your choice, and that will stop any sand, logs, apples, or logs from going back in and into this area here. Now, the one thing we need to do to make sure that goes into that way is to make this pipe tube longer. Now, we can use a restriction tube and then just put the chest at the end. This restriction tube adds 5,000 virtual tube connections onto the length. So even though this may be shorter in physical distance than that route, it's actually now longer because of this restriction tube. So that adds more on. And that's it. That is the tree farm set up. It's not automated completely. We can't do that just yet. We need to set up the other farms first. Okay, so that will happily plug along and output everything into the chest, and the saplings will get recycled, and any surplus saplings will go into the chest. The only thing we need to do with that is to keep it topped up with humus. Right, onto our wheat farm. Our wheat farm dimensions are slightly bigger than the tree farm. They are 15 by 15, but again with a 9 by 9 centre in the middle. The combine, which is the harvester machine, will pick up from an area of 21 by 21 and up to 10 blocks high, which is a bit strange because you don't really get wheat growing high. But what it does mean is you can have multiple wheat farms stacked on top of each other. I'll show you how to do that later on. Requires power, dirt and seeds to start, and the tube outlets are very similar to the tree farm in that the seed input is the top. You don't need to input dirt because you only need the initial dirt to lay out the foundations, and then it's not used from then. It doesn't have any outputs at all. Combine doesn't have any inputs, and the outputs all items, which in this case is just the wheat and seeds from any side. So if we have a look at the farm, very similar build to the tree farm. You've got 4 glass in the corners, you've got 1 small circuit board at the bottom, 1 sturdy casing in the middle, and this time we've got bronze electron tubes. So remember the recipe that for the electron tubes? So these will be bronze ingots to make that. And for the combine is the same, but with iron, so with iron ingots. So let's place down the wheat farm. So again, main farm in the middle, the harvester type in that corner. We're going to connect the power up in one corner, And let's give it the materials it needs. So we need dirt, and we need seeds. So dirt will start it off, and then the seeds will carry on. And for here, same again, take your relay, no matter which way it faces. Oops. Can't face that way obviously because the output's this side. Take your pneumatic tube out. Now we need the seeds to go back in here, pretty much like the saplings go back in that one. So just take it up 2, cross one, cross another, put a filter on here, and then turn it so it's the what I call the wrong way up. And then inside here, you need to just steal one of these seeds. Just put one of the seeds in here. Oh, now where did that come from? It's quite possible it stole that sand off the tree farm. Restriction tube, and then into a chest. Okay. Now this farm doesn't output sand, so I'm guessing that it stole it off here. Now the maximum this will pull from is a 21 by 21, so it's quite possible that stretches all the way across. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It doesn't. Weird. Okay. Yeah, not quite sure where that sand came from, but there you go. I'm just going to knock these down, just in case the seeds jump over the end. And lastly, for our peat or bog farm, the actual main machine is called a peat bog. So people call them peat farms, people call them bog farms. Doesn't really matter what they are. Very similar to the wheat setup, 15 by 50 with a 9 by 9 centre. The tubery, which is the harvester machine, will pick up from an area of 21 by 21 up to 6 blocks high, and it's worth remembering that 6 blocks high because these bog farms stack very, very well indeed. The only thing we need for this is bog earth to start the process off. The inputs bog earth into the bottom, and it outputs dirt from any side. The tubery doesn't have any inputs, and it outputs peat from any side as well. And if we quickly look at the builds, it's very similar to the other builds. The peat bog, again, glass, small circuit board, sturdy casing, and copper electron tubes. So that's made with 5 copper in the thermionic fabricator. And the tubery, again, glass, small circuit board, sturdy casing with tin. So let's place this down. You see our wheat farm there, all nicely put in and going. So again, main farm machine in the middle, the harvester machine in the corner, and then sort the power out. So they connect there, and here, let's start it going first. We want bog earth, which I will tell you is made from dirt, sand, and water, or you can make it in a carpenter with mulch. So yeah, not quite sure why you get two extra with a water cell than you do with a water bucket, because well, I suppose it consumes the tin, so that's your extra 2. And the bog farm uses a lot of this stuff, and off it goes. So that will cover pretty much the same area as the wheat farm with the same water pockets. And while it's doing that, we shall lay down our RedPower connection, which again is a relay. Again, just here. Got plenty of room to work in. This time I'm going to point it this direction. There is nothing to go back into this one, so in theory we could just on tube we could just put a chest there, but I will create a connection. And that's our initial farms set up. Now off camera I'm going to stack these up. I'm going to stack the bog farm up. You can literally build almost directly on top. So where we've got our water, which is the best place to put it, you can start another bog farm here, directly 1 square above, and you can actually use the turbidity for possible three layers before it will not be required. There's a trick with the wheat. If you put a solid layer directly above the wheat, it won't grow. If you put a layer of glass directly above, then it will grow. Maybe slightly reduced rate, but it will allow you then to stack your wheat farms on top of each other. The tree farm needs 10 high, so they're going to go quite a long way up. Okay, so that concludes the first episode of Bobster's Forestry using RedPower. And join me for episode 2, and we will look at the multiple stacked farms, and also we'll go into the carpenter and the moistener for making these farms automatic. Thank you for watching. Bye.